Almighty Helix Fossil. Is it finally time to make another top 10 video? Hi guys, and welcome finally to another Pokemon Top 10. Today we're covering the absolute most requested anything ever on my channel, and that is my top 10 favorite Pokemon. Since the release of Pokemon X and Y, there are now over 700 different pocket monsters in existence, and so many of them are way too likable to have to only choose 10 for this list, so it was really tough for me to put this together. All of these guys have had a real charm on me, so let's not dilly-dally any longer. Finally learn how to say that, and let's get to my top 10 favorite Pokemon. Number 10. Fabbi the Beast. Ninetales has not only made her way onto my wall of sprites, but also onto my favorite Pokemon list, all thanks to the amazing Pokemon Secret Gold Nuzlocke playthrough I did a few months ago. For those of you that don't recall, Fabbi was the light shining through the darkness known as Whitney's Miltank. This thing is literally the devil, but in a miraculous twist, the nine-tailed fox summoned the power of the sun and taught Whitney the art of getting completely wrecked, and went on to become probably the most popular and most powerful Pokemon of that entire Nuzlocke. Eventually she did get taken out, and almost immediately after I lost the Nuzlocke, but my love for Ninetales grew so much from that playthrough that I pretty much only played Ari for the next week in League of Legends, finally caught up on all of the Naruto episodes I missed out on, and learned everything there was to know about nine-tailed foxes on Wikipedia. The most reliable website. It was kind of an obsession actually, like I was charmed by this virtual creature. I'm actually a little scared now. Number 9. It's a bird. It's a plane. Wait, no, it actually is a bird. Every new generation of Pokemon comes with its own patented early bird Pokemon. From the Messiah Pidgeot to OU Garbage Talonflame, one bird has flown above the rest as one of my favorite Pokemon ever, and that is Swellow. What can I say? Swellow's just such a swell guy. Okay, there is not gonna be a better joke than that in the whole rest of this video, let's be honest here. I'd always known about Pokemon as a kid, but Ruby and Sapphire were the first I ever owned myself, so a lot of my best memories come from those games. Wally taught me how to catch Pokemon, and immediately after I ran into twitchy-ass Tailo, the first Pokemon I ever caught in the wild. In his little Flappy Bird form here, I really didn't like him too much, but once he reached level 22 and evolved, my 10-year-old self could not contain himself from the sight of pure badass that I was looking at. For me, Swellow really earned the best bird medal though, thanks to the Pokemon anime and the greatest trainer on Earth, Ash Ketchum, when he unleashed his legendary Thunder Armor strategy. No bird Pokemon will ever be better than Super Saiyan Swellow. Number 8. Stunfisk. No, there's no need to get your ears checked. You heard that right. I said Stunfisk. The exact same reason why this Pokemon is in my top 10 worst designs is why he's in my top 10 favorites. Just look at him. He's gotta be some sort of joke. Like, there is no way someone at Game Freak showed this to Iwata Miyamoto and he said, "Ah yes, this is a good design. I like very much. Put in Pokemon Suta, Black, White, ho 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 ho." No! I have made it a life quest to decipher the mystery of Stunfisk. Are those wings? Or flippers? I mean, it's not a water type, so I guess it's like a flattened out bird. Alright, its looks are clearly not helping us figure this out. This exclamation mark on its body should be a question mark because I am questioning my existence while looking at this stupid face. Seriously, someone get me a flight to Japan because I just gotta know who made this. Why did you make this thing? Its cry is a fart. Its cry is a freaking... Number 7. Alright, things were getting a little heated there, so let's move on to the next Pokemon, Charizard. While I never got to play Charizard's home game, Pokemon Red, as a kid, Charmander and its evolutions have always held a very dear spot in my heart. God damn it, Stunfisk. Thanks to the world of YouTube! It was the year 2009. A beautiful young boy living in his grandparents' attic decided it was his time to play Pokemon on the internet. And so Munching Orange was born and the Region Adventures playthrough began, featuring the debut of Fuego the Charmander. Whether you're new or a veteran to my channel, Fuego has made many returns in my playthroughs, Wi-Fi battles, and pretty much anywhere else a Charizard is allowed. Pokemon X and Y has only boosted my love for this Pokemon, as it finally made the best non-dragon an actual dragon with his X Mega Evolution. It makes him look like he's always shiny, and they gave him these awesome shoulder spikes. I think I just went back to being 10. Oh yeah, Charizard Y is cool too, I guess, but that blue fire though? Number 6. Dedenne. Dedenne, Shenane, however you like to pronounce it, there is no denying this is the cutest little electric rodent around. He's like Raichu, but Hamtaro. Gasp! Is that a song I hear coming? Dedenne! Pachirisu and Pichu aren't as cute nuzzle time. He likes to eat berries, puffins, rub my cheeks. He's a fairy too kawaii. Dedenne! Fimolgang got shit on me. You know, I never actually liked the idea of there always being a Pikachu-inspired clone in every new generation, but Dedenne has opened up my eyes, which seems kind of impossible. I mean, have you seen my eyes? They're pretty dang small. He's become one of the cutest Pokemon in my book and the only X and Y creature to make it in my all-time favorites. Number 5. Now we've made it to the top 5, and things are gonna get a little more personal here. My top 5 favorite Pokemon are all ones that have a childhood memory tied to them, and starting our little story time is gonna be Rayquaza. This was actually the first legendary I ever remember catching. Picture 10-year-old me in the busy public transport of New York City, focusing intently on my Game Boy SP as I climbed my way to the top of Sky Pillar. Actually, don't picture it because my mom apparently happened to take a picture of this very moment I'm talking about, and you're seeing it here on your screen right now. Lomo! I still have trouble navigating that dreaded mock bike puzzle of the Sky Pillar, so imagine how tough it was for 10-year-old me. Even though I think I was better at video games then than I am now, but I eventually did it, and at the top of the pillar awaited the sleeping beast known as Rayquaza. I remember resetting the game countless amounts of times over the course of a subway ride and at least 2 buses, with every little shake of the Pokeball being more and more agonizing, and just as we were about to make it to the last bus stop, yeah! That was loud. I'm sorry, but that's exactly how it happened on that glorious day. Everyone on the bus turned their heads towards Little Mo to see what had just happened, and with the biggest grin I've ever had in my life, I said, "Bitch, I just caught Rayquaza." Number 4. Now let's take a step back in time to Pokemon Ruby and Sapphire. The release of these games was very hyped at my elementary school. All the kids were gonna get it, and I was no exception. I went with my mom to buy the game the day it was released and started playing it immediately on the car ride home. As you probably guessed already, my starter was Mudkip. Torchic was a little too girly for my 8-year-old self, and Trico looked pretty cool, but I liked Mudkip the most. Everybody likes Mudkip. Haven't you heard? I played the game all night, and the next day, while all the other kids at school showed off their Blazikens and Sceptiles, I stood tall with my level 40 Mudkip. That's right, I don't know why, but I chose not to evolve my Mudkip. Maybe I was trying to be edgy and create the unevolved run before it was cool. I don't know, but that Mudkip eventually turned into Swampert and became the first Pokemon I ever trained to level 100. But the cuteness of Mudkip seemed to outweigh the power of Swampert, putting the little Kipster in my top favorite Pokemon, and made him one that I love to use whenever I can. Number 3. Contrary to a lot of Pokemon fans, the 5th generation introduced a lot of Pokemon I've grown to love, like Scrafty, Samurott, and even the previously mentioned Stunfisk. But there is one black and white monster that stood out so far above the rest that he was actually the mascot of my channel for a long time. Minchino, take the stage! Stage? There's no stage, what am I talking about? Much like Dedenne, Minchino has made his way into my favorite Pokemon almost solely based on his cuteness. I always really wanted to have a pet hamster or chinchilla as a kid, but my mom never delivered, so the closest thing I got were 2 pet turtles, and I'm pretty sure some neighbor stole them, so when I saw Minchino for the first time, I knew there was still hope for the young Mose to finally have his pet chinchilla, and it was everything I'd ever hoped for. Pancho the Minchino made his way onto my playthrough of those games, and even onto a lot of my competitive battling teams with his deadly Skill Link Tail Slap combo. Number 2! So I've already mentioned that Ruby and Sapphire were the first Pokemon games I ever owned, but they were not the first that I played. It was actually Pokemon Crystal that had the honor of being the first Pokemon game I ever played while I went to stay with my cousin one summer. He was kind enough to let me play his cartridge of the game, and I was really young and it was my first time playing Pokemon, so I just used whatever he had on his save file, and that ended with the legend now known as Shredder the Sneasel. When I was a kid, I always liked to pretend I was a real Pokemon trainer, throwing whatever I could find around pretending it was a Pokeball, battling trees and other inanimate objects. Yeah, I was a pretty lonely kid. Man, that was so cool though. I don't even know if kids do that anymore because anytime I ever meet a kid nowadays, all they talk about is Minecraft. But back in my hallucinating Pokemon trips, my imaginary partner would always be Sneasel, all thanks to Shredder the Sneasel from my cousin's Pokemon Crystal cartridge. And for years, he maintained as my favorite Pokemon ever. There is no doubt about that. However, all kings are eventually dethroned, and poor little Sneasel's spotlight ended when the 4th generation of Pokemon arrived. Number 1.
The moment of truth has finally arrived. What is MunchingOrange's favorite Pokemon? Why does he speak of himself in the 3rd person? Will Ice Cube ever make Barbershop 3?
Hey, for real though, Ice Cube, if you're out there, man, I know it might not have been your best work, but you know, some of us out there really want to see the Mask 3 Attack of the Planet of the Monkey. My all-time favorite Pokemon is Monkey. Well, that's it for my top 10 favorite Pokemon, so hopefully finally all of my Ask FM questions will stop being what my favorite Pokemon is, which, just to clarify, it's Monferno. I love monkeys. I love cats too. And I really like turtles, but anyway, I want to thank you all so much for watching. If you've enjoyed this video, be sure to leave a like down below and let me know in the comments which your top favorite Pokemon are, top 10 or top 5, just what your favorites are. I'm really interested to see which sort of weird picks you guys might have as your favorite Pokemon, and hopefully I can get another one of these top 10 or variety videos done sometime before next year. Just kidding, but last time I did one of these, the channel was at about 200,000 subscribers, I believe, and now we're almost to 400,000, which is just absolutely bonkers. And I just really want to thank you all so much for all the support. My tiers are fully stacked. I'm actually going to try and get more of these types of videos out more often because I really enjoy making them, and hopefully you guys enjoy watching them. So be sure to subscribe if you want to stay tuned for more. Thank you all so much for watching once again, and see you guys next time. I think that's it. I think I finally did it.